Hello, I'm going to be doing a quick little yap sesh before the video begins, so if you don't want to hear that, if you're not interested in that, go to this timestamp and we'll get into the AI analog horror slop that is slowly but surely taking over YouTube analog horror. But before this video starts, I just want to give an immense thank you to everyone. As of me recording this, my most recent video is about to hit 100,000 views. Oh my, 100,000. That's a lot of that's a lot of people. I've reached 3,000 subscribers in like less than 2 weeks, which is actually unfathomable for me. So unfathomable. So thank you all so much for checking into my channel, giving me a chance. I really do appreciate it. And so if you've been on my channel for a while, this quality is gonna look a little familiar. This is when I started my channel, I would film with my phone, and I have like these little microphones that like plug into my phone, and then they're right here, and it's really cool. Yeah, I tried out a camera. My dad is a videographer, so he has a ton of equipment that's at my disposal. So I tried a new setup for a couple videos. As you could see, it didn't really work. So currently, as I'm figuring things out, I am gonna go back to my old setup, but because I feel like it looked and sounded a bit better. Like I didn't get as much, I don't want to say like complaints. That sounds lame. Like, you're complaining. Like, no, like you're right. The video sounded awful. And like there's a part of me that's like, that's the video that had to blow up, the one with the terrible audio quality. I'm not gonna complain about a video blowing up though. Thank you to everyone who engaged with that video, who liked it, who commented. And also a lot of you have been sharing it. There's like a little YouTube recap thing in the YouTube Studio app, and it was like 100 people shared your video. I'm like, who's sharing my videos? So I think that's really cool. But yeah, hopefully this video will be a little bit better in quality, and I'm working on the script reading thing. Yeah, again, thank you guys so much for giving me a chance, giving me a shot, for showing all the love. Anyways, let us dive into the world of AI analog horror. Analog horror, while still a relatively new concept in my head, has been around for a while. So much so, in fact, that AI slop is now beginning to overrun the community. Yes, not even analog horror spared from the claws of AI. Now, I'm not talking about a series like Angel Engine, which is an analog horror series on TikTok that relies on AI for its visuals, voices, and seemingly also its script writing, although the last one is pure speculation. While researching this video, I found Anthony Gallego's video. Gallego? I apologize. I have an unpronounceable last name, so I always feel bad when I mispronounce people's last names. But I found a video he had made looking into the Angel Engine TikTok series, and I will leave the video to that in the description. I will say it's one of the few YouTube videos I watched in a while that has genuinely made me laugh harder than just a little nice. Like, I was actually laughing at it. He's a funny dude. I subscribe to his channel. I recommend. Link in the description. But that isn't the type of AI analog horror I wanted to talk about today. No, the channels I'm talking about are the ones that crop up every day with similar looking videos, identical titles, and nothing really to differentiate them with. Same shit, different pants. The first channel I wanted to discuss is Dead Signal VHS, the oldest channel out of the ones I'll be discussing today. The first video was uploaded in late March of this year, and they already have, as of early June, 60.7 thousand subscribers. That's more subscribers than some of my favorite channels that make actually amazing content. That's not disheartening at all. Anyways, each video is less than 5 minutes long, and they aren't part of an ongoing series. Rather, each video is completely standalone. Originally, I wanted to go over each and every one of their videos and do a little commentary on each, but I realized about 8 videos in that this channel has, as of me writing the script, which was June 3rd, 61 videos, which is, I'm not doing all that. So by the time this video goes up, they'll probably have way more because, as we've previously established, I am a horrifically slow editor. However, I wanted to include this section of me going over the first 8-ish uploads. I skipped one at the end because I thought the last one I'm going over is funny. The first 3 videos can pretty much all be summed up together as they all have a similar concept of spooky entity is in your house, or outside, or in your pictures, or whatever. The first one is about some spooky and unnamed entity that calls your name, and if you go to look for the source, something bad happens to you. And this one I noticed has very generic lines like, "It's not them. It was never them." Who's them? Who's they? That's just never elaborated on for the rest of the video. Like, this seems like the beginning of an actual story, but then it's just never picked up and we never hear about them again. The second video is a public service announcement / emergency alert system type video, which a lot of these actually like to use that format. It seems to be the more popular format to be used in these types of videos, where people are told if they see themselves outside, don't go out there and don't open the door because those that have gone missing. Ooh. Although there is a sweet FNAF reference in
the person they mimic.
This one is also confusing because at the end of the video, the announcer of the PSA, EAS, whatever alert that it is, says, "This public safety alert was issued at 3:33 a.m. We regret to inform you, it is already inside." Like, how the f do you know that? Like, why would you even bother at that point? Also, is it my clone that's inside or some random alien creature a la Animal Crossing? It is 3:33 a.m. after all. I don't know, I'm putting critical thought into an AI generated horror video, so that's on me. The third video is, again, cut and paste, but this time the warning boils down to some entity now lives in your pictures, and if you see it, nothing you can do now. Like, again, why would you tell me at that point? These first 3, especially the second one, seem to draw heavy inspiration from Alex Kister's The Mandela Catalog series, and specifically the concept of alternates. And let me just say, if you haven't seen The Mandela Catalog, I do highly recommend it. It's an analog horror staple at this point. Our fourth video deviates from the PSA, EAS warning of random entities trying to come for your pickle or something. That sounded funnier in my head. And instead is a commercial for a pillow aptly named The Perfect Pillow. I guess they're getting marketing tips from Mike Lindell. It starts out innocent enough, saying that the pillow will keep you warm, although wouldn't most people prefer a cold pillow? And hold you tight before saying, if you feel trapped, do not move. I guess that was the holding you tight we were promised. For once, honest advertising. As the pillow is revealed to be evil, it starts turning red, and for some reason that part actually killed me. Like, you could see like the crusty JPEG like artifacts, or I don't know what you call it, but like you could see the background fading into view. It's so funny. It's so funny because I'm sure some kid is taking this real seriously, and I'm over here dying, and this kid's over here having a panic attack. And among all this chaos that is going on, the pillow is now inside me. Hey man, buy me dinner.
Take me out to dinner.
The next video, we are back to form with an emergency alert that warns viewers to not look at the second moon, which is a fake moon, and viewers are told not to try and identify which moon is the real one. Gee, it's just so hard, I just don't know. The evil moon then seems to hijack the alert, where they tell us to look at them and choose them.
So pick me, choose me, love me.
Get a load of this pick-me girl over here, am I right? And then the signal is then taken back, and the AI voice urgently tells us to not choose, and the video ends with what appears to be this channel's first attempt at a jump scare of sorts. Our sixth video gets real philosophical, asking us, you woke up this morning, but are you really awake? This one is another emergency alert that tells us that we all woke up at 4:32 this morning. Woke up this morning at 4:32. And we do our usual morning routine of the exact same thing that everyone else does, naturally. One thing though, it wasn't us. It was some entity or thing or whatever. They give us the rundown of a verification check that we should complete, which involves some analog horror staples, like checking to see if your reflection's messed up in any way. And they also said to call someone and tell them a memory that only you two would remember. And if they hesitate or smile too long, which, assuming we're doing a normal phone call and not FaceTime, wouldn't you be unable to see them smiling? I don't know. I'm in a nitpicky mood today. I don't know. But anyways, those are bad signs. If the checks fail, they say to not leave your house and do not go to sleep. That's it, I guess. Who are these people or entities we should look out for? Who knows? The last two I picked piqued my interest because the titles caught me so off guard. The next one is called, If You See This Emoji, Run! And we see a purple heart emoji on the thumbnail. God, what did Donatella Versace do this time? Which I guess begs the question, does a PSA on the dangers of an emoji really count as an analog horror? Emojis and smartphones are pretty much the furthest thing from analog, but there's a CRT TV filter over it, so I guess it's analog horror. There we go. I guess it is. Huh. Basically, unknown numbers are sending out purple heart emojis, which we're told not to react, reply, or acknowledge in any way. We're affected if we experience the feeling of being watched. Typing sounds will be heard from phones that are locked, and notification sounds that are not real will also play. After a second message is sent that simply says, "It's here," the person then goes missing. Oh my god. Apparently the messenger also waits for you to send it next, and you could also send it or receive it without even remembering. Very, very convenient for the plot. So to avoid this when you receive it, if you remember given, turn off your phone, and as always, don't look in the reflection of your phone because we all know that scary mirror dimension is it's the analog horror entity's favorite place. There was a joke there somewhere. We then, somehow, within the confines of the video, receive a new message with the same jump scare from the last video. I guess the evil moon just really wanted to make sure we saw them. For our final video that I prepped notes on before I noticed 53 other videos I had yet to watch and my soul collapsed in on itself, is do not go to New York. Buddy, I'm way ahead of you. Don't gotta tell me twice. We see footage of a modern day Times Square that glitches out before warning appears on the screen. The EAS message begins with alerting the citizens of New York City to evacuate as they are deleting our city. They are never named or otherwise elaborated on in any way. Maybe this is the they DJ Khaled has been warning about us this whole time. Maybe he was a prophet.
They didn't believe in us. God did.
So boroughs are just kind of Thanos snapping out of existence. God, I hope that's accurate. I never watched Marvel movies, so I thought that'd be funny. But CCTV catches glitches and strange shadows when things disappear. But when they went to film it, apparently the footage corrupted. So pray tell, how were they recording for CCTV and noticed that, if trying to get the footage makes it corrupt? I don't know. The video talks about the city disappearing, but the title and the thumbnail alludes it to being the whole state, but no, it's just the city, which I guess may as well be the whole state to some people. So going over these videos, I noticed a lot of stolen artwork. The first video uses art from the Basswood County Case analog horror, which I haven't really heard of until I started working on this video, but I will definitely be checking out after this. There's also this one in the person in your photo never existed, which reverse image searching really didn't help, but this certainly wasn't this picture's first appearance on the internet. If anyone recognizes it or the artist, let me know so I could put it in a pinned comment. Right after that, this one pops up from user iHeartGrahamCoxon on Reddit, and while not from any specific analog horror, is still someone else's art. The next face, which is also used for our evil moon, is taken from the Walton Files, and they really like to overuse the intruder character from the Mandela catalog. which those are like three super popular analog horrors, which stealing art from them is a bold choice, I guess. And nowhere in the descriptions are these artists credited in any way. The stolen artwork seems to make fewer and fewer appearances in their more recent uploads, but still, these videos are still up and all those artists are still uncredited. The channel's most popular video comes up a little bit later on April 29th, and as of writing this script has 1.1 million views, called "If Your Teacher Does This, Leave Class Immediately." Watch out, Local 58, the snappy new analog horror might be coming for ya. As this video is a bit later than the others, not by much, but still, it looks slightly better. Like, the VHS effect looks better at least. So this video is an alert for students to watch out for teachers that don't blink for 72 consecutive hours. So are students just supposed to, like, stalk their teachers? Because who has access to their teacher for 72 consecutive hours? I digress. Apparently, though, that's a sign that your teacher's been replaced. And some of the signs also mentioned in the video simply just sound like a regular burnt out teacher. But don't worry, our announcer lets us know that it is, quote, not a sign of exhaustion. As this is an AI generated analog horror, another sign is, let's say it all together now, their reflection is affected in the mirror, windows, whatever. But yeah, teachers are being replaced with spooky different ones, and the real teachers are found around the school with, quote, their eyelids removed with surgical precision and their mouths sewn shut with what appears to be hair. Never mind the mental image that gave me, but like, school's still going on even though we're discovering teachers just chilling around the school like that. Well, I guess they're not chilling, but you know what I mean. So the responsibility of keeping an eye out, of course, falls on the students, as they are instructed to, if they notice, discreetly pass a note to their admin, but not on line paper, as apparently these fake teachers are attracted to the grooves. Hey man, I'm not gonna kink shame, do you, I guess. Now, I guess if you're over the age of 15, 16, I don't know what kids are like nowadays, but this video is obviously not real. I know, shocker. But there are plenty of comments of kids saying things like, I'm gonna show this to my teacher and scare her, or I'm gonna show this to my principal so school gets canceled, and honestly, it's kind of precious. This does, however, give us a bit of insight into what kind of audience these videos attract, and like most low-quality, subpar YouTube horror, it's kids. We'll be getting back to that whole can of worms and what that implies in a bit. In the interest of not being so overly negative, the one video I found to be fairly interested was "You've been removed from the earth, PSA warning." It looked a bit better than most of them, although maybe my brain was rotted from watching the previous one, so the quality of this one looked way better. This one video had an interesting concept that could work with, you know, no AI and some actual human emotion behind it. It could make up an interesting horror series, not necessarily even analog horror. It almost seems like a plot you'd see in a video game, which sounds familiar, so if like there's already a game like that, let me know. So that was the one video I found that was a very interesting concept and honestly could probably work. But I want to wrap up talking about Dead Signal. They seem kind of like the blueprint, so to speak, for these other channels, as every channel from here on is basically the same stuff repackaged. And even then, I'm not 100% sure if Dead Signal is the first channel to come along like this. It was just the oldest one I had noticed. Dead Tape VHS is the closest clone of this channel that I found, with a strikingly similar name and profile picture. Both of their profile pictures seem to be generated from the same AI prompt. Like Dead Signal, Dead Tape has an AI generated description on their channel, except this one they couldn't even be bothered to replace your channel name with their actual channel name. It was actually this channel that I accidentally stumbled on that introduced me to AI slop analog horror, and I just fell down a rabbit hole from there. In the interest of not making this video super repetitive, here's a non-exhaustive list of videos that use the exact same prompt and in some cases identical titles, formatting, grammar, capitalization, all that. If you see yourself outside, run! You called your dog or cat and it spoke in your voice. You were replaced in your sleep, everyone knows but you. The real you is still asleep. If you see the same person twice, run! They see everything you see / someone is using your eyes.
They took my f***ing eyes.
If you see a new door in your home, run / there's a new door in your house. If you found a note or letter from yourself, don't open it. The one Dead Tape video that I found that doesn't seem to be on any other channel is titled, "You Are Living in a Video Game." I had no idea Ronnie Radke dabbled in AI analog horror creation. As of June 3rd, when I was doing the research for this video, it was their most recent upload to their channel, and it keeps that similar style that all these channels have. It's a storytime type video of a systems engineer who submitted an anonymous crash log to a now defunct government agency, and parts leaked somehow. I'm 90% sure it's a whole the world is a simulation or a video game and bugs got out from this, and that defunct agency that was made has something to do with it. It's a lot you gotta infer though, as none of it is explained.
The world is not infinite. It is loaded around you.
Wow, main character syndrome much?
The game is watching you now.
Time to play the game.
It is very interesting noticing how eerily identical Dead Signal and Dead Tape are, but with how successful Dead Signal is with their content, it's obvious that someone would come in and try to ride off their coattails. But there aren't many true analog horror fans watching this channel. On r/analog horror, I found this post from not too long ago, 8 days ago as of me writing this, of user beautiful_flight1108 that says, "You know what makes me angry? The fact that a channel like Dead Signal VHS got more views on his video, script most probably AI generated, than Martin Wall's Return of the Pumpkin Rabbit. I don't know how these guys that make their videos in like 10 minutes get more views than hardworking people. I think that the most satisfying analog horror series are the ones with a proper storyline and visuals, not brain rot. So I'm just going to put some things which are worth watching. Dr. Nowhere, Smilehood, The Boiled One, The Walton Files, Bunny Farm, Return of the Pumpkin Rabbit, Vita Carnis, The Mandela Catalog, Baddington." Which, those are all pretty solid choices, and if I hadn't watched any of those are names I've seen floating around, so definitely worth checking out. This got a response from user The Turtle Box, who seems to be rather well versed in creation and visual arts, to put it lightly, responded, "It's frustrating enough being part of a team that exclusively works with analog technology and having to coexist with people who make entire pieces of content in Blender," which personally I know nothing about Blender, but I have seen content made with Blender and it's not bad. It's better than anything I could do, but I digress. But it's even more annoying and frustrating when people just entirely AI generate content and it somehow gets 10 times as many views. Even with my analog photography project, getting sent death threats by a dude who got banned from the sub and proceeded to claim analog photographers gatekeep AI artists, it's just dumb. Yeah, no shit, there's a major difference in holding a physical piece of media that's recording content via film versus typing a prompt and generating something via AI. I'll never understand why they can't just call it AI horror or something. Which, yeah, with the amount of channels this AI generated analog horror seems to attract, it honestly would make more sense just to define it as its own genre, but I kinda don't see that happening. Analog horror is already a well-established term and gets more clicks and views, but conversely, it just waters down the term. Like how nowadays to most people, analog horror basically just boils down to liquefied face plus VHS filter equals analog horror, which is upsetting when you see the works of really talented analog horror creators. It's a genre that has just started reaching its full potential, in my personal humble opinion, before it got overrun by AI bros just wanting to cash out. When I see a series like Monument Mythos or the works of Baddington, I'm genuinely amazed by what is possible and how small these teams usually are. The first episode of the Mandela Catalog and some of the Walton Files, two of arguably some of the most popular names in analog horror, were made with a cell phone. So it's not lack of resources, it's lack of trying. Which, yeah, I get it, it's for money. But it just reeks of pure laziness. These next few channels definitely embody that. It's kind of like real VHS generation loss, it just gets worse and worse. Cogito ergo ZZZ, or as translated from Latin, I think therefore damn, even Rene Descartes is catching strays here, is yet another copy-paste AI analog horror channel. This channel is mostly made up of duplicate videos like do not go to school tomorrow, which both take the same don't go to school tomorrow, there's an entity doing something type of thing. Both have if your teacher does this, leave class immediately, and if your teacher makes a mistake, stay silent. And a lot of these titles are worded and formatted in the exact same way, which leads me to believe that they're all either copy pasting off of each other or are all just using the same AI. The if your teacher makes a mistake video in particular even copies the same level of alert, which is another interesting quirk of these videos. These levels are never described or explained in detail, and they seem to just be arbitrary. I've seen level 2, level 7, level 3. It's all just random and doesn't really add any realism. I mean, it's not like they're going for it, but it's just never explained, ever. The most recent upload on ErgoZZ's channel as of me writing this is who was the teacher sitting in class at 3 a.m. analog horror, where the person behind this channel couldn't even be bothered to remove parts where the AI voice pronounces the punctuation.
This is not a drill dot. We observed was ... a teacher, not moving. Not blinking dot. We have never had a Ms. Harper dot.
The graphics cover the subtitles at times, and at this point I'm starting to feel dumb for pointing out anything unrealistic, because we've fully established that, yeah, AI analog horror doesn't know how to actually be scary and realistic. What school out there has staff at 3 a.m.? I don't know if any school around me has like overnight custodians or something. Like, I guess some could, but none around me. And then there's also that odd detail of perfectly lined teeth in every locker that weren't human or animal. There's so many different types of animals and animal teeth on this planet. This is just a lazy attempt to be spooky. Like, how do we know this? Most of this channel's thumbnails use arguably the spookiest font around,
Comic Sans,
and have very eye-catching graphics, like do not follow the teachers. That's teachers with the punctuation. You and dog. And my personal favorite, your mom eyes red. And also, there's a part of my script that I wrote a few days after I wrote the first draft. And this dude really just uploaded, do not go to school tomorrow. Again, with the same thumbnail and title. The new one is longer though, but still, oh my gosh. I get the original upload is their most popular video on their channel. That's all about that could be said for this channel. Let's move on to our next AI analog horror channel, Redwire. So Redwire has a video called Control the Tape Before It Controls You. This was the first video that I clicked on their channel, as it looks like one of those interactive type videos that I love and always have ever since the day of annotations. RIP annotations. While not an interactive video, it seems to be an introduction to a long-form analog horror about the Red Wire choosing students to investigate anomalies in their school, but alas, this video was, in fact, another one-off. I also noticed this one has an altered or synthetic content disclaimer message in the description, which these other channels don't seem to have, as that's an AI disclosure message that gets checked by the creators themselves. Like every time I upload something, there's a little thing that's like, is this altered or synthetic content? And you have to manually like check yes or no. So it's interesting that they would admit to that, even though it's obvious. But genuinely, I think a real analog horror about this red wire concept, although more than likely thought up by AI, seems like a solid premise, either for that or a digital horror series. Which, if you like digital horror, I have a little video covering the Lacey Games digital horror series if you want to check it out. But this channel falls into the same trap as the others, having duplicate titles and duplicate premises, seeing the same person twice. Everything you touch duplicates, with a super similar thumbnail to Dead Signal. You are not alone in your room. My cat growls at the wall. If your teacher makes a mistake, stay silent. Do not go to school tomorrow, and one of your classmates isn't real, which uses the exact same thumbnail as Dead Signal's channel, only they tinted it yellow instead of red. So it's foolproof. Like, you know, it's bad when these channels are not only too lazy to come up with their own video concepts, but are also too lazy to make their own thumbnails and titles for their stolen concepts. And to add to that, this channel doesn't even use a VHS or CRT filter over their videos. They just use a film grain filter, which, yeah, film technically is analog, but then what are we watching this on? This looks like a filter you'd put on like a fake silent film that you'd make or whatever. I'm thinking too deep into this. Now, a lot of these channels probably haven't even met the requirements for monetization yet, so that almost defeats the theory of these channels being made for easy, fast money, at least the fast part. But this last channel not only has almost 50,000 subscribers, but also has a Patreon. That channel is Code Red. While most of their content is the exact same as these other channels, they do have one video that I haven't seen on any other AI analog horror channel, so it might be an original, or as original as this kind of stuff gets. Called You Are in the Wrong Reality, this video uses the concept of, hey, you know when you were a child and things were brighter and more colorful, and now it's not? You woke up one day in a different reality, actually. Never mind the actual scientific studies that prove that we see colors more vibrantly as kids and gradually dull throughout life. Nah. This one actually had a comment that mentions how this could affect people with OCD, and as someone with OCD, I can definitely see how this can trigger superstitious thoughts and compulsions. I'm not gonna lie, some of these videos, even though I knew it was AI slop, kind of activated my OCD, but luckily I'm older and medicated.
Here comes the Prozac.
So I can realize it's fake. The idea of life not being real or living in the wrong reality or something crazy happening to yourself that you don't realize are very real fears that people with OCD and anxiety in general experience. I know if I was a kid, like nowadays, these videos would have actually made me spiral. And that's not me trying to be funny. You're talking to the same person who sent chain emails up until a very embarrassingly late age that I will not disclose because I always had those fears in the back of my mind. The other thing that got to me about this channel was, of course, the Patreon. They have 3 tiers, $5 a month, $9 a month, which is allegedly the most popular, and $66 a month tier that they explain with some spooky analog horror. Oh, we legally have to have this, don't subscribe to this tier, it'll be bad. And somehow this Patreon has 94 members. Given there is a join for free option, so I'm assuming that's what most of these members are signing up through. Their Patreon only has one post from May 2nd, and it seems to be an attempt at starting an ARG maybe? Which I genuinely hope it's something interesting and not AI generated, although the post looks very AI generated, but I did put it through an AI detection thing and all of them said that it wasn't AI generated, so maybe it's an original. So the only channel I found during this rabbit hole that maybe appears to be inspiring these AI bots that they use is Zenith Initiative. I put it in my notes originally because the thumbnails looked vaguely similar, but I couldn't be more wrong. This channel predates every other channel I've discussed today, but actually puts effort into their content. And they also have original content, which unfortunately seems to have been mixed into some sort of AI bot. They mix IRL footage with their content, and they have videos about the backrooms that look pretty cool. And it all seems to be real, actual footage that they made. They have a video called The Dog, which seems to be where Dead Signal took their premise for The Pillow from. They haven't been active in about 3 months, but they're worth checking out, and you could really tell all the effort that they put into their videos. Now, as I've discussed previously, children seem to be these AI analog horror channels' core demographic. Let's face it, what real adult is gonna click on a video with a title like, if your teacher makes a mistake, stay silent, or don't go to school at 3 a.m.? My money's on not many, unless if you're a 24-year-old making a YouTube video about it. They even take that whole at 3 a.m. concept that was super popular with children audiences and are still made and aimed at child viewers to this day. Unfortunately, this seems to be a more hidden part of ElsaGate, whatever we're on. I lost count after ElsaGate 3. While this isn't sexual content like ElsaGate content typically is, I am kind of using that, I am using that as an umbrella term for any inappropriate children's content that makes its way onto YouTube. Honestly, this started out as a funny, silly, goofy video idea, but then it actually started to piss me off with how all of them are the f***ing same, and some even have a decent amount of subscribers. I get it's probably mostly all kids judging by the teacher/school theming, but like, even kids deserve decent horror or horror adjacent content. There used to be so much good content for children, even horror. Like Goosebumps, hello? And they don't deserve this soulless slop. Take a shot every time I say slop in this video. But I mean that in all aspects of children's media. I've been following the whole ElsaGate thing and adjacent topics for about 10 years now, and I'm upset to see that this is still going on. We are seeing children being affected by these videos, and they deserve good content with human input. I'm not opposed at all to the concept of an analog horror aimed at children. I'm sure they think our old tech is a little spooky, and an adult needing to explain the concept of something like a VHS tape includes parents on what their child is watching. Children deserve better. This is a topic I've been passionate on for a while, and this stuff only seems to get worse with time. And that was a whole tirade. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. But thank you for joining me in this deep dive into the world of AI analog horror channels. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. I feel like that's just gonna keep being awkward for me until I like, comment, subscribe. I don't know. But anyways, again, I want to thank you all for the love on the previous video. Thank you so much for 3,000 subscribers. That is actually insane to me. I know I yapped at the beginning, so I'm gonna keep it short, but thank you so much for checking out my channel. If you have any recommendations, let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed me yapping about something that I randomly found at like 2 a.m. But thank you so much for checking out this video and checking out my channel, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!